Hello and welcome back to the Ultimate Guide to Command Blocks. Today we're going to be looking at game rules and discussing how they work and looking over a whole bunch of different little things that just make your worlds and adventure maps and whatnot a lot more easier to manage without the use of a bunch of weird glitches and such like that. So the first thing we're going to be looking at is do fire tick false, which is very useful. Let's give this a bit of a demonstration. I'm going to throw down a bunch of wool. It looks like a pencil just fell off my table, and as you can see, the flames are spreading and devouring the blocks, and that's what fire does. But if we do this and update the game rule, now what should happen is we can set these on fire, but it's not going to spread at all. As you can see, it's being demonstrated as such. Before, we were getting them being destroyed quite quickly, and I think it's sufficient to say that what this basically means is that the fire tick will no longer occur, and a fire tick is basically a random tick which occurs during the game in order to tell fire to spread, and if that doesn't happen, it can't spread. So next thing we're going to be looking at is do mob spawning false. So let's just go ahead and do time set night. I have a bad feeling that my systems to keep it day are going to have a problem with that, so we're going to get rid of that. We're going to do time set night, and we're going to switch it to easy. Let's go speed up the process a little. Time set 1400. There we go. Now, as you can see, mobs are spawning everywhere, and this could be problematic in adventure maps because if you haven't lit up the place properly, you're going to have unwanted mobs spawning everywhere. So, simply by doing this, do mob spawning false, we're going to keep the mobs that are here now, but if we change into peaceful and then go back into easy, as you can see, previously mobs would start spawning, but due to the updated game rule, that's no longer going to occur. So let's go time set day and go fix my little system over here which keeps it day, just using the daylight sensor, not too difficult, and move on. So game rule command block output false. Now if you may have realized, let's look in the chat. As you can see, every time something that the command block has done, it's sort of written this italic sort of writing that says at a game rule has been updated. If we change this so the command block output is false, it will update the game rule, but it won't output anything such as that into the chat anymore. Now this may make you fear that say commands no longer work, but as you can see, say commands and tell commands will continue to work nonetheless. So let's actually set that back to true just so that we can see what we're doing. And just in case you weren't fully aware of how these work, basically each of these has a true or false statement at the end. You have the game rule command, the type of game rule, and then the state which you want to turn it to. Not too difficult to understand. So yeah, not entirely too sure why I've got that there for. But yeah, let's move on. This is the game rule do trial drops false. What this basically means is that tile entities, which are entities that can contain extra information, will not break off when you break the block underneath them. Like that. So let's set this to true and see the difference. So if I just break up like so, put some redstone on the top. I didn't even click the button. There we go. As you can see, when it's set to true, the redstone will be dropped off. Like such. If we were to set it to false, it would not. Now, there is two main advantages to using this. It decreases lag because these are entities which require quite a lot of information, And if you're, say, blowing something up or breaking a lot of material, it can cause a lot of entities to spawn, and this will prevent extra entities from spawning if you're in creative and stuff like that. Very useful. And now we're probably going to be moving on to some of the arguably more useful game rules. So this is keep inventory true, and it's fairly self-explanatory. It allows you to keep your inventory upon dying. So what does this mean? It means that you keep all of the items that you're currently holding, but it's a little bit more than that, because you also keep the experience. So let's give myself an extra 30 levels. Let's set my spawn point, and let's do slash kill. Did I even click the button? I don't think I did. I didn't even click the button. I bet everyone just face palmed. So anyway, we can use that as a demonstration to show what usually happens. I lost pretty much all my levels, and I lost all my inventory. Now we just put this back and do that again. Kill. Now as you can see, I retain all my items and my level information. Pretty awesome. Anyway, now we're going to be moving on to the last sort of game rule that I'm going to be showing you. It's the mob griefing game rule. So when we set this to false, what it allows us to do is it uses any mob that can create a damaging effect to the environment, and it will subside the effects of that. For example, let's take a creeper. Let's hit him. As you can see, he did absolutely no damage whatsoever to the environment. But by seeing that I was blown back, you can tell that he is still doing damage to me. We could prove this. Game mode 0. As you can tell, I still take quite a lot of damage. Well, as much as the creeper does. So nothing changes there. Also, ghasts, I believe, will no longer cause damage either. So another thing I want to point out, you may remember that when we did the do mob spawning false, can't remember, probably that one there, but it basically stopped all mobs from spawning. The reason that this may seem not so great is because if you want to do a hostile map, you may think that, okay, now I don't have any mobs that I can summon at all. But as you notice, I can use eggs to do the trick, and I can also use custom spawns. But we'll be covering custom spawns in another series, the Ultimate Guide to Custom Spawners. You know, I like to mix and match the names, you know, why not? So yeah, that's about it for this video. And pretty much the end of this series, really. We've gone over the main components. You may have noticed there's another little bubble over here. But from now on, I'm just going to be demonstrating extra little techniques that you can use, and basically more applications of everything that we've learned. Because realistically, even if you have watched the series through and you do understand everything from the basics to the more complex stuff, it can be difficult applying it in the right circumstances, and that's the stuff that you really need to master, which I won't be able to teach to you straightly, but I will be able to show you ways of doing things, and hopefully if you use that and basically go out and do your own thing, then you may be able to master command blocks yourself, because realistically they're not too difficult, they just may seem a little intimidating at first. So with that, I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.